This is Delia again. We're on Chapter 7, Part 8. When I first met you, I knew you never learned any manners, said Stephen. His voice was soft and cold and light, and somehow it made Elena dizzy. She couldn't take her eyes off him as he moved toward Tyler, who was shaking his head dazedly and starting to get up. Stephen moved like a dancer, every movement easy and precisely controlled. But I had no idea that your character was quite so undeveloped. He hit Tyler. The larger boy had been reaching out one beefy hand, and Stephen hit him almost negligently on the side of the face before the hand made contact. Tyler flew against another headstone. He scrambled up and stood panting, his eyes showing white. Elena saw a trickle of blood from his nose, and then he charged. A gentleman doesn't force his company on anyone, said Stephen, and knocked him aside. Tyler went sprawling again, face down in the weeds and briars. This time he was slower in getting up, and blood flowed from both nostrils and from his mouth. He was blowing like a frightened horse as he threw himself at Stephen. Stephen grabbed the front of Tyler's jacket, whirling them both around and absorbing the impact of the murderous rush. He shook Tyler twice hard, while those big, beefy fists windmilled around him, unable to connect. Then he let Tyler drop. He doesn't insult a woman, he said. Tyler's face was contorted, his eyes rolling, but he grabbed for Stephen's leg. Stephen jerked him to his feet and shook him again, and Tyler went limp as a rag doll, his eyes rolling up. Stephen went on speaking, holding the heavy body upright and punctuating every word with a bone-wrenching shake. And above all, he does not hurt her. Stephen, Elena cried. Tyler's head was snapping back and forth with every shake. She was frightened of what she was seeing, frightened of what Stephen might do, and frightened above all else of Stephen's voice. That cold voice that was like a rapier, dancing, beautiful and deadly and utterly merciless. Stephen, stop. His head jerked toward her, startled as if he had forgotten her presence. For a moment he looked at her without recognition, his eyes black in the moonlight, and she thought of some predator, some great bird or sleek carnivore, incapable of human emotion. Then understanding came to his face, and some of the darkness faded from his gaze. He looked down at Tyler's lolling head and set him gently against the red marble tombstone. Tyler's knees buckled, and he slid down the face of it. But to Elena's relief, his eyes opened, or at least the left one did. The right was swelling to a slit. He'll be all right, said Stephen emptily. As her fear ebbed, Elena felt empty herself. Shocked, she thought. I'm in shock. I'll probably start screaming hysterically any minute now. Is there someone to take you home? Said Stephen, still in that chillingly deadened voice. Elena thought of Dick and Vicky doing God knows what behind Thomas Fell's statue. No, she said. Her mind was beginning to work again, to take notice of things around her. The violet dress was ripped all the way down the front. It was ruined. Mechanically, she pulled it together over her slip. I'll drive you, said Stephen. Even through the numbness, Elena felt a quick thrill of fear. She looked at him, strangely elegant figure among the tombstones. his face pale in the moonlight. He had never looked so beautiful to her before, but that beauty was almost alien, not just foreign, but inhuman, because no human could project the aurora of power or of distance. "Thank you. That would be very kind," she said slowly. There was nothing else to do. They left Tyler painfully, getting to his feet by his ancestor's headstone. Elena felt another chill as they reached the path and Stephen turned toward Wickery Bridge. "I left my car at the boarding house," he said. "This is the fastest way for us to get back." "Is this the way you came?" "No, I didn't cross the bridge. But it'll be safe." Elena believed him. Pale and silent, he walked beside her without touching, except when he took off his blazer to put it around her bare shoulders. She felt oddly sure he would kill anything that tried to get at her. Wickery Bridge was white in the moonlight, and under it the icy water swirled over ancient rocks. The whole world was still and beautiful and cold as they walked through the oak trees to the narrow country road. They passed fenced pastures and dark fields until they reached a long, winding drive. The boarding house was a vast building of rust-red brick made from the native clay, and it was flanked with age-old cedars and maples. All but one of the windows were dark. Okay, and now I'm going to chapter 8.